Governor Polis is thanking police and first responders for their quick actions during yesterday's shooting. During a news conference, he said the murders of 10 innocent people is, quote, horror and terror for us all.
I'm standing here not just as governor, but as someone who has called this community my home for most of my life and who's shopped at that King Soopers in Table Mesa many times across my life. And, you know, my heart aches today, and I think all of ours does, as Coloradans, as Americans, for this senseless tragedy, the loss of life, as we hear those names. Everybody, and Boulder County is a small community. We were all looking over the list. Do we know anybody? I'm sure that we know people that know people, people of all ages, and people who started their day with a cup of coffee and reading the morning paper, or perhaps getting their kids ready and putting on a winter coat to go out. Maybe they were making last-minute spring break plans, but none of them expected that this would be their last day here on the planet. It's a simple run for milk and eggs, you know, getting ready to shop, going in a regular way we all live our lives, something that we can all identify with, led to a complete tragedy here today. And our hearts ache for those who lost their lives, for their families, for the survivors left behind, for the survivors who were able to get out, who have scars that can't be seen but are every bit as painful. And I want to thank the Boulder Police Department, the first responders, so many police from agencies across the state came to the call in the time of need. Not only did we lose 10 lives, but this is real horror and terror for all of us. The simple act of shopping at a grocery store. And in the last day and a half, the last 12 hours, the families of our victims, our friends, they've been notified of their loss. That's why these names weren't released yesterday. The families have been notified. Everybody quietly hoping that it wasn't your friend or your coworker or your family member. Many residents of South Boulder had people checking in with them. Are you okay? Are you okay? Posting on social media, are you okay? And look, this loss is especially painful for the friends and the family members of those left behind. And as governor, I offer my condolences to all those who suffered loss. But this is a loss for all of us, and we mourn those who fell as a state, and we mourn them as a nation. This has been a painful year, and we sit here once again surrounded by seemingly incomprehensible, senseless loss. This is a pain that we need to sit with. We can't let ourselves ever become numb to the pain, because we simply can't let this be accepted as anything close to normal occurrence. There's a full investigation underway. The eyes of the nation are on Boulder. The eyes of the nation are on Colorado. And every level of law enforcement, federal, state, and local, is working together to make sure that we can bring justice in this case. That's exactly what Boulder police officer Eric Talley was doing as he lost his life in the line of duty. He was heroically trying to save others. The state of Colorado has 35 people from the Colorado Bureau of Investigations and state troopers assisting the investigation since yesterday. We've offered to help with victim services as well. And of course, Boulder community has the full support of state and federal law enforcement as we go about the difficult task ahead. The unfairness of it all, this is going to be difficult for people to process. Flags had barely been raised back to full mast after the tragic shooting in Atlanta that claimed 8 lives, and now a tragedy here close to home at a grocery store that could be any of our neighborhood grocery stores. You know, this last weekend in Colorado, many of us had the opportunity to enjoy the beautiful spring outdoor weather, spending time in the great outdoors, a sense of renewal, a sense of hope ahead. Perhaps that we were on the precipice of normalcy. I hope that the victims today got some simple pleasure on that beautiful spring day before tragedy hit. I wish I could stand here and promise that the pain will heal quickly. It won't, but for the family and friends and our community, the loss endures. And at times like this, it's hard to see the light that shines through the darkness. We all need space to mourn, space to be angry, that's legitimate feeling, space to help those who are left behind, space to ask the simple question, why? Space to support those who made it out of the grocery store with their lives, but with lifelong scars that we cannot see. Space to celebrate the 10 lives that were lost yesterday. And we need the fortitude to carry on. We will hold the evildoer responsible to the full extent of the law for his actions. And we will always remember the victims of the King Soopers shooting.